Jeffrey Dahmer's chilling interviews in the months leading up to his death have recently resurfaced, providing insight into his notorious killing spree. In interviews conducted in 1993, the year before the Milwaukee cannibal was killed in prison, and 1994, Dahmer revealed more about his killings, claiming it was just a means to an end. In the final interview he gave before his death, Dahmer said killing became a compulsion after he grew up with the fascination of dead animals. It switched from animals to humans. I still don't understand it, I don't know why, he told MSNBC. He committed his first murder at 18 years old when he killed hitchhiker Stephen Hicks. It just seemed so bizarre to me, this obsession that I had been thinking about and wanting. All the parts are there and they make it possible to make it happen, he said. Killing wasn't the objective. I just wanted to have the person under my complete control to do with as I wanted. Dahmer told Dateline NBC in a separate interview that the killing was a means to an end. That was the least satisfactory part. I didn't enjoy doing that. That's why I tried to create living zombies with uric acid in the drill to the head, but it never worked. I wanted to keep them with me. Dahmer also spoke to Inside Edition about a year before his death, providing further insight into his killing spree. I had these obsessive desires to wanting to control them, possess them permanently, Dahmer told Inside Edition in 1993, of his victims. As my obsession grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls and skeletons. Dahmer said he targeted victims not because I hated them, or because I was mad at them, but because I wanted to keep them with me. I always knew that it was wrong, but the first killing was not planned. No one had a clue to what was happening for over a decade. Dahmer initially began tasting his victims out of curiosity, he told the outlet. But over time, he claims it was because he was wanting them to feel a part of me. I kept the mummified head and skull of one of my victims in a carrying case in my locker at work, he said. That is how strong the compulsion was. That is how strong the desire was. I wanted to keep the person with me. But when Dahmer was caught in 1991, everything changed. There was no point in trying to hide my actions anymore, Dahmer said, explaining why he helped police. The best route was to help the police identify all of the victims and make a complete confession. The Milwaukee Cannibal. The killer earned the nickname the Milwaukee Cannibal after his 13-year period of murderous terror. Raised in a broken home, Dahmer was a natural loner who developed a strange inclination toward dead animals as a child. As he grew older, the gay man began to drink heavily and experienced illicit fantasies about incapacitating men physically and sexually. Right after graduating high school in 1978, the fantasy became a reality, when he picked up a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks under the pretense that the two would be drinking together. Dahmer incapacitated the 18-year-old man before strangling him to death and dissecting his body in his basement. 9 years went by before he moved in with his grandmother in Wisconsin, where he would commit a series of haunting murders. His grandmother had no idea that while the two lived together, Dahmer spent his time picking up strangers at gay bars and bathhouses before drugging and murdering them in the basement. When he moved out to Milwaukee's Oxford apartments, the serial killer lost complete control, indulging in any violent impulse that crossed his mind. He drilled holes in people's heads, poured acid into their brains in an attempt to make them zombies, and continued to have sex with their corpses. He was arrested by Milwaukee police officers on July 22, 1991 after one of his victims, Tracy Edwards, managed to escape. While searching his home, officers discovered a bedside table drawer full of disturbing Polaroid photographs of his victims and their dismembered bodies. He later confessed to making his victims pose for pictures on a black table that he planned to make part of his altar. By September 14, 1991, he was charged with 16 murders, many of them committed at his apartment in Milwaukee. Dahmer was given 16 consecutive life terms, with the last one being in May 1992 for the murder of his first victim, hitchhiker Hicks. Dahmer was imprisoned at the Columbia Correctional Institution in Wisconsin. He spent his first year in solitary confinement due to concerns for his safety before he was transferred to another unit. 2 years after his conviction, Dahmer was killed by a fellow inmate. On November 28, 1994, Dahmer was bludgeoned to death by convicted murderer Christopher Scarver. Dahmer's story has been featured in a variety of series and specials, including The New Dahmer, Monster, The Jeffrey Dahmer Story on Netflix,